So as I introduced yesterday at dinner, I introduced Arun, who is here in the corner. Arun is our initial co-founder and worked with me closely side by side for 4 years, longer, been supportive of us a long way through. This presentation is not about Arun. This presentation is about all of the things that Arun and I told ourselves that we would never do in our company when we started back in the day. And here we are, a real company, and I'm going to talk to you guys about mission, values, and something else. Next. Come over here. The first thing is an apology for all the buzzwords. It's buzzwords, but there are buzzwords. I've worked very hard on this. I'm still not entirely happy with it, but to be honest with you guys, still seems a load of corporate crap to me, but there is some good in here. I think I'm trying to give the presentation that I needed when I was a junior employee, where I was looking at these things and going, what is this? What I think is, for me, changed where I thought all of this that we're going to talk about today, what I thought it was, and then what we're talking about is, to me, the reason that I think that every time I saw company values and every time that it was shown in previous cultures, it oftentimes the seem not meaningless but almost unnecessary, and I feel that's an important thing to acknowledge before we go any farther, is that all that I'm going to be talking about here today, everyone in this room is already embodying. It's to what extent? We're all embodying it, otherwise we wouldn't be a good fit to be here at ZenMaid. The point of this conversation, the point of this presentation is to help to define what makes our best team members our best team members. And essentially our best team members is everyone that remains. That's everyone that is here, because we have very high standards. And so these are trying to essentially define those standards in a way that makes it clear to you guys why we value all of your contributions to the team and why we value you as individuals within our organization, and also to guide us on how to hire other people in the future that are going to succeed here. Because we're getting to a point now where we're starting to hire considerably more, and if we miss on hires, it's very, very expensive mistakes. It's painful for everyone involved, and so we're trying to define that. Culture is how we operate. It's what winning looks like, particularly when we're not making money hand over fist, right? It's like what defines what winning looks like, even when the numbers are maybe flat, right? So it's our shared playbook. It drives how we think, how we work, and how we win, and it enables clarity, autonomy, and consistency. I got myself at this point, and that's okay. I hate this slide. It gets better. I promise it gets better. I hate this slide. Okay. Our mission, vision, and outcome. What are we optimizing for? So I've said that our mission is to make maid services successful. That is, everyone on the team is here because in one way, shape, or form they are helping to make maid services successful. That's not the 3,000 that pay us money every month. That's the 25,000+ that are on our email list that receive content from our marketing team. It's the entire wider community, the entire industry that we help. That's the mission. Vision, a high caliber, high autonomy team. What does that mean? It means a team of capable people, that's you guys, with a lot of freedom. Hopefully that is how you feel. That's it. Outcome, value delivered at scale without bottlenecks. We used AI for some of this. You guys can tell. I didn't write that. I did not write that. We'll talk about that more later. It's leverage is really the big thing that we're talking about here, but outcome is value delivered at scale without bottlenecks. Our behaviors. This is initially our values. This was the entire point of the presentation, was for me to come up with ZenMaid's company values. And I spent a bunch of time, like weeks and weeks, working on this. And then I talked to my executive coach last week, and he looked at this and was like, these aren't values. These are behaviors. You need to find your values. So that's the thing that we will do as a company after this. Behaviors. So essentially, these 6 things that I'm going to talk about and provide some examples of, these are essentially the way that every single team member at ZenMaid acts and behaves, regardless of position, regardless of role, title, compensation, all of these things. Essentially, these are what make A players at ZenMaid A players, and that's different in different organizations. I think that's a big important thing to note here, is that you could be in a different organization that was much more cutthroat and political, and the values would be different. They they'd probably be lying to you, but they'd be different. Behaviors, the way we behave. Values is supposed to be something that's a little bit more catchy. We'll talk about that later once I've talked through the rest of this. So our behaviors is our operating system. It's how we work. It's how we actually get our work done. It's how we make decisions. And it's the behaviors that as a company we want to reward and to, of course, require. So number one is clear, proactive communication. This is something that I think gets taken for granted, but everyone here is a very clear communicator. We have different styles of communication. We have Jim and Alex, who you see they're typing, they're typing, and then it's a very long but very clear message. Then you have other people where it's oftentimes one-liners, but it's always clear, it always provides context. I think we do a very good job of training people early on to provide that information. I think you guys know one of my pet peeves is when, not necessarily dumb questions, but when lazy questions are asked. When someone is asking a question that clearly they could have gone and answered themselves, that's something that we train out of people very early on, and it leads to amazing communication, which again, this is what I was saying, where a lot of this sounds wishy-washy. If you guys have been in companies where communication was not clear between different team members and stuff, it's a massive, massive headache. Also, I need to be better with this, just so you guys know. I'm well aware that from the top down, there's some lack of clarity, so we're working on that. So, these are values that we all aspire to, and we all aspire to be better at. Yes. Owner mindset, this is just taking ownership of everything that you see. So with problems in ZenMaid, it doesn't mean fixing everything that you see. It essentially means figuring out whether things should be fixed and then, seeing them through to the end. So what that means is that if you recognize a problem that a customer is having at any level of the organization, you can go and try to make sure that that customer has the best experience possible by going to the team members that can help out, right? And it might be drawing it to their attention, maybe they can't help out, but it's doing what you can to make sure that the customer has the best experience. That would be an example of just owner mindset. So that's when, it's thinking about the overall result for the business, regardless of what your title or role states or whatever. So progress over perfection. Jim has heard this a lot about the 80-20 of essentially trying to add value to, or essentially to improve, right? And what we're always looking to do is to improve everything within the business, from the product to the marketing, all of that stuff. There's no such thing as a perfect product. Like, we can't snap our fingers and go, ZenMaid is now perfect and we don't have to develop it anymore, right? So we're not striving for a perfect app, we're striving to always be progressing and to always be doing a better job. And that is something that applies to the product, it applies to the marketing, it applies to the operations, every single department. We're just trying to get better and better on a daily basis. And that is really the yardstick that we're measuring ourselves against within reason. Leverage. This is what I started battling about the ADHD thing before on, what was the other word for it? Leverage from the previous slide. Leverage. The word leverage comes from the lever. You guys are familiar with it, the Greek fable or whatever. Someone, with a rock and a long stick and they step on you guys. So, leverage is essentially, really, this is how everyone is sort of compensated for the work that they do and why companies are paid for the work that they do. If you think about it, before ZenMaid existed or before any of our competitors existed, every single one of our customers that is paying us money right now would be paying at least an office manager part-time to be doing the work that we are doing. And so what we are delivering as a company is we are delivering leverage to 3,000 maid service owners currently that now are able to bring in somebody that's either less talented or the same amount of talent and is able to focus on more important things. So we get paid for saving them the money. They save money, they save some management time. That is leverage that we are delivering. Every individual team member here is also providing leverage and is delivering. We are like more than the sum of our parts, right? That every team member here, we only have approximately 20 people that are here, I don't know what the exact count is, that are essentially replacing the work that it used to take 3,000 people to do on a daily basis. So as a company, we are paid for leverage, and then everyone who's sitting in this room is being paid for the leverage that they are providing to the company, right? So if we could pay you $100 and you would bring us exactly $100 back, as a company, that would not make sense as a trade for us. So leverage is what everyone here is paid for, and it's an important thing to remember because ultimately, with delivering the product, leverage is what we're ultimately all paid for. So Team first, I'll have plenty of examples of this because I think this is something that, again, is taken for granted. If you guys have ever been in other organizations where you ask somebody for help and they say, that's not my job, that's not my department, I don't work for you, anything along those lines, you likely have never experienced that at ZenMaid, right? Hopefully, if you have, it was delivered in a respectful way with reasoning as to why someone would not take it. But there are people on the support team that are junior support people that are tagging in Alex and are asking him to step in and to help a client. Right? That's because it's the right thing to do, and it doesn't matter who's asking. If Alex is able to, he's going to. Sometimes he's not able to, and he communicates that clearly, but team first is something that when you're asked to chip in, we expect you to chip in, of course, within reason. Cool. And then the last one, and this one is my favorite personally to talk about, and is the one that I realized through this entire process is one that is a value of the company that, I don't know, makes me happy. So it's delight. So essentially, delight is when something is pleasant or good in a surprising or unexpected way. So an important note here, caveat to the actual definition, is if it is expected, it's not delight, right? It might be nice, it might be well done, it might be perfect. There's all sorts of other ways that you can describe it, but delight is specifically surprising or unexpected, and that is something that I feel ZenMaid has delivered on across the board. I feel like individual team members do little things for each other, and at the retreats we see that, but also for customers, that we go above and beyond for customers. We do things that people do not expect us to do, and I think that it's a very, very important part of our brand, and something that we should lean into more level, and that ultimately it's about what's doing right by our customers, regardless of who is leading that effort. So yeah, everyone takes ownership at every level. Speed and quality is non-negotiable for what we're delivering. This is, of course, you can't always, these two are at odds, but it's essentially, we have the ZenMaid level of quality. That's something very difficult to define. It's in all departments, but I think most of the time we know what that level of quality looks like, and our goal is always to deliver that level of quality as fast as possible to users, to other team members, etc. And then, like I said before about taking ownership. If something needs fixing, make sure it gets fixed. Initially, this was if something is broken, fix it. But the problem with the something is broken, fix it, is that implies that if you recognize an issue, then you need to fix it. And generally, that's not actually how it works, especially in a company like ours. So we want to be aware of these issues. And if you can recognize the issue but not fix it, it's bring it to the person's attention who can fix it and make sure that it at least goes on to their endless to-do list, or gets fixed in real time if possible. But the point is to make sure that something will happen with that thing that you have noticed or whatever. How we work together, how we show up each and every day. So these are the habits that make ZenMaid work. Be direct, be kind. Is this from the holiday? Mm-hmm. Holiday party? All right. Be direct, be kind. This is one where honesty wins outright, that if we want to have the best experience as team members, get the most out of the company and everything, we do need to be honest with ourselves and with others. But in that, if you have things that you see that are going wrong or criticisms or whatever, I think that being kind is something that is very, very important. A quick thing to note on kindness, it's a very specific word that I have chosen, is the difference between being nice versus being kind. Is being nice is saying what's going to make somebody feel good essentially in the moment, right? So if somebody asks you how they look today, for example, it's a terrible example, but how they look today, saying something nice would be something that would make them feel good. Saying something kind might be you have toilet paper in your hair, right? One makes them feel good in the moment, the other actually helps them so they don't make a fool of themselves later in the day. Terrible example, I get it, that's okay.
Yeah, toilet paper and hair seems highly specific.
All right, Slack, yeah, I already talked about that, of writing clearly, briefly, and with context. Take notes, follow up, follow through. Again, I feel a lot of these things is preaching to the choir, right? Because we do this. Anyways, keep doing it, goddammit. Celebrate all wins, big and small. Assists and everything, I think the team is already very, very good about doing that, and appreciate each other. All right. Okay, I didn't select any of these photos, I swear. All right, so what gets you let go? This is the flip side of everything we just talked about. A little bit heavier for one slide, and it pops back up, guys. It pops back up. So These aren't just pet peeves, they are deal breakers. So these are things that will literally, if you're not doing these things, it's going to cause problems, and essentially team members then have to pick up your slack and, etc. So anyways, okay. Lazy vague questions. I already mentioned that, of just where you're asking questions where you can clearly find the answer yourself, or the thing that I've trained up people on in the past that I don't know if we still do, we probably should, is especially if you're a junior team member, if you're going to any team member that's a level higher in the organization, is to ask yourself, what is the first thing that this person is going to do or check when they receive my message? And can I go and check that myself first? And this is something that Arun taught me, because he got tired of me sending him over support tickets and being, hey, this isn't working, and then the setting box isn't checked. And so he trained that into me of it's keep going until literally the next thing for me to check is something that I cannot check without Arun's help, and then ask the question. And that was a massive growth thing for me. So Arun, thank you for that.
Also a good thing for me too.
What? What was that?
It's also a good thing for me too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's a good thing for everyone involved, right? It didn't feel that way at first, but it definitely made us a lot more efficient. And I learned, and yeah, it was all good. So, anyways, okay, minimum effort mindset. I had a little bit of mixed feelings about this. My coach said that I should actually call examples to actually use examples for some of the negative things. I think this will probably be the only one in this presentation. But for minimum effort mindset, this is why Diego was let go from the team. There were other things, we had conversations and stuff, but essentially during the big price increase that we did 3 months ago, we essentially saw him respond to the minimum number of tickets that he was contractually obliged to, and then essentially sign off for 4 days from, I think it was Thursday to Sunday, and left his teammates, our customers, and the company in a really, really shit spot when it was very, very obvious that we needed his help. And so that was a straw that broke the camel's back. And then again, contractually, that's perfectly fine. That's completely within reason. We don't generally ask for that, but this was a time where we felt that for it to not have even been offered or anything, that was the final kind of straw. Minimum effort mindset, that's a pretty easy one, and I think that's really more about how it impacts your teammates, right? It's really as simple as that. It's not fair to everyone else who's working hard for the company. Fixed mindset, this is not a growth mindset. Essentially, we expect team members to be working on improving at their jobs, and that seems a reasonable thing. You guys spend a lot of time doing this work, and so working to get better at it and everything is so. I'm not taking clear ownership, essentially seeing issues within the company but not bringing them to the attention of the team, or not dealing with them properly. That's the thing where, especially if one of those things turns into something bigger later on, and it could have been addressed earlier or whatever, that's going to be an issue. And then the last one is an interesting one: crosstown hero, hometown flop. This is one where we've had some team members in the past where it was almost, honestly, the person that I'm thinking of actually wasn't from ZenMaid, it was from my previous company, where they almost thought that their compensation was about being visible in Slack, so it was responding to things as quickly as possible, and so they looked really good for quite a long time because they were always really responsive, but then they weren't actually doing the work. Right, so they were really helpful, and all the other departments loved them, but then the core job wasn't actually getting done. Okay, positive stuff, I hope. I don't remember the next slide. That's Ryan. What growth looks like.
I'm struggling right there. That's not good.
Good phone.
Yeah.
All right, best team members raise the bar for the entire team, for the entire company. The best team members raise the bar. The best way to be successful in your role is to essentially think like the person above you. It doesn't mean to do their job or to do their role, but for example, if you are a developer and you understand what Alex is trying to accomplish, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to figure out how what you are working on directly ties into Alex's goals. This is good advice for ZenMaid, post ZenMaid, anywhere that you are. If you can be the most helpful person to the person that's one level above you, it's the fastest way to move up in organizations, but also take on more responsibility to grow, etc. Contribute before you're trained. If you want to get better at something, if you want to start doing something for ZenMaid, it's find a way to get started with it. You don't need to wait for permission. It's essentially ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Quiet excellence compounds. I'm not sure the AI wrote that one. I believe it. I think that's very true. I don't have anything else to say about it. Need I say more?
Please elaborate.
It's essentially the whole progress over perfection, that theoretically if you get 1% better, 1%?
Yeah.
1% better every day, you added 37%. Is that right?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yes.
Anyways, if you improve 1% every day, you will get better. I don't know the actual.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. But in all honesty, this is more about doing the work, taking pride in the work, and there's lots of tedious things that we do in all of our jobs that we probably prefer not to. But there's always ways that we can be getting better, getting more efficient, and yeah, that's the whole quiet excellence compounds. There's a lot of stuff that the dev team has been doing behind the scenes that now we're beginning to see this wave of features coming out when it was very slow for quite a while there. That's not because the team wasn't working, it's because behind the scenes there was a lot of foundations being laid and we didn't get any credit for that. Now we're beginning to get a bunch of credit for it. So it's the price change. Trying to get better, we'll foot the bill. This is something that I've always had in my head and think that everybody knows, but I'm being told that people don't know this. So if you guys have a book that you would like to buy and would like to read, we will buy it for you. If you have a course that is less than 4 figures, we will buy it for you. If you have a course that is more than 4 figures, we will torrent it for you. Yeah. But in all seriousness, though, I do want you guys to think about this, that you guys are probably aware of a lot of the stuff that I do. If you guys follow me on social media or anything, you see that I'm around the world a couple of times a year with a bunch of entrepreneurs and stuff. That is absolutely for fun, and it is great. But there is also a lot of business benefits that come out of that. We have multiple of those people from those communities that are here. There's 6 people here from the Dynamite Circle, which is my primary entrepreneur group. And so that's something that I'm doing as CEO to continue growing. And there is opportunity for you guys no matter what position you are in at ZenMaid. There are things out there that if you guys do want to get better. The other thing with this is that I don't care if you want to learn to play guitar. Right? We will pay for that, right? I want you guys that if you guys want to learn something or to get better at something in your lives, at the very least we will chip in so that you guys can go and do that. This is not limited to business or ZenMaid related stuff. That includes if you're a developer and you want to take a marketing course. Rich.
Do we have a proper process for requesting this stuff?
No.
Like you want to do this thing?
No, thank you.
Send me a message with the information and we'll give you the go ahead and then send us the invoice and we'll reimburse you.
Also counts for software licenses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Adobe Suite.
I think we already paid for it this week.
Okay.
I'm gonna get that.
Well, that's a really good point. There's a lot of software that some departments use that other departments probably could be using.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
We should have
So to be clear, guys, you guys can have a ChatGPT Pro plan on us, for example, right? If you're paying $20 a month or avoiding paying $20 a month, whatever, ChatGPT Plus plan, whatever. Wait, hang on, is that the $200 a month one?
200 is pro. Plus is 20.
Oh, plus. $20 a month one, goddammit, not $200 a month. All the line is somewhere.
Lots of recurring free
It's only 3 figures.
If it's monthly, that's different, right? One time 3 figures. All right. Examples. All right, so as Ryan just pointed out, now I can't unsee it. If you look at the top badge, it says ZenMaid value. So
We do value.
we do value. Exactly. That was on purpose. For first example, I wanted to give you guys the culture at ZenMaid was the SOS feature from last year. This is something that I think that it really fits our culture. I mean, I think all the examples are going to have is going to be multiple things, but this one for me is probably owner's mindset. It's definitely a delight one, and team first, as there's a lot of team members that went into this. So for those guys that are familiar with this, Stephanie shared a story last year during the team retreat with, I think there were a couple of people. I'm not going to name anyone because last time I did that, a bunch of people were, it was me, and I don't remember who it was me said that. Essentially, we talked about this feature and decided to move forward with it. It's something that took some time, but the big thing for me here is that if we had never built this feature, we would have never heard about it. Nobody would have ever blamed us. Nobody would have ever criticized us for not doing this. This is something that we thought of and where this should exist in the world, and we took ownership of it and we made it happen. And that's something, this to me made me so proud as the CEO of this company, and should be helping cleaners to remain more safe. And I don't know if anyone's copied us on this yet, but to me, I felt this was the true first real innovation of this is completely new for this industry. even though we essentially stole it from Uber. This was awesome, and I loved how many people took ownership of it. And along the way, it got passed to different departments and et cetera, and everyone took ownership, moved it along. My favorite thing was that I only heard about it on the retreat and then heard about it sporadically, but was never involved in any other meeting about it. So I got an email from myself announcing this amazing feature. And I was like, oh my god, this is great. So yeah, anyways, this one really made me proud, and I really feel like it. I think that the biggest thing is, I think, actually the impact on the industry. Genuinely, I posted about this on LinkedIn that I hope our competitors copy us on this one, because it would make the industry a better place, and you can only say things like that when you're winning, so. Okay. Jesus, that's hard. Can you guys read that in the top left, or is that me being colorblind? Because I can't read that. Okay, just checking.
This is fixed. It's fixed now with the new.
What's up, Jim?
Can everyone turn and look at Jim? All right, cool. So this is a quick one. This is going above and beyond. So Ryan got a little bit frustrated with how long it was taking to make updates to the Framer website. That was at no fault of anyone else on the team. There were multiple team members. So when he would have something that he wanted to make a change, he might ask for it, and then maybe Franny would pick it up and would change it immediately. Maybe he'd be waiting or whatever. So he got frustrated and it took a little bit of time. I doubt it probably took you more than maybe half an hour or something, right? Yeah. So and took the time to learn a bit of Framer and to be able to ship basic updates himself. This is the kind of thing I can tell you at lots of other companies. I mean, first of all, I didn't know about this until Ryan had actually already done it and was taking these things live, but it's not something I probably would have asked Ryan to do, and it's something that at other companies I could see somebody being like, that's below me. I have people that do that. Of course, it's within reason. Ryan's not taking anyone's job. It's to move a little bit faster on some of the things that he doesn't feel he should be waiting on other people. So that was one of going a little bit above and beyond in sort of a different way.
It basically means I put crap on paper and Jim has to clean it all up. So thank you, Jim.
All right, cool. So I don't know if you guys, how many of you guys have seen this yet, but Nat built multiple GPTs. One of them is Judgmental Amar that you guys have not seen yet. It asks you really blunt questions, I guess. I'm not sure. I haven't actually used it yet. But this is the actual talent guide that we have, or talent AI that we have put together. So we've uploaded a bunch of information about how we sort of go through the hiring process. Vicky used this, Jorge used this, I don't know if Ryan did or not, but essentially this makes it easier for us to go in and to put together job descriptions, to do Moscow frameworks, to figure out what we need, and to move faster with hiring, but also essentially the point of the conversation, but also to keep the hiring level high and consistent across departments. So yeah, this is another one that I saw it. I didn't even know that it was happening until it was done, which was pretty cool. Okay, this is Team First. We're chipping in and helping others. This is for Chris and Franny. Franny unfortunately is not here today, but Chris and Franny both stepped up to help the marketing team to launch the new ZenMaid magazine, our blog. This was a ton of great work from Jim on the design side, Ryan leading the project. A bunch of people were involved. I think Andrew was very involved with it. But this was from other departments tagging in and helping to get the marketing team, to move a very important project forward for us. And so that was something that was appreciated, and both those guys could have pushed that off or whatever, and instead stepped up and helped. Cool. For those of you guys that didn't see this, I don't remember when it was, 6 months ago, a year ago, something like that. March. Yeah, so Steph went to a Spanish-speaking event in New Jersey, and essentially, so we got the invite. We were invited to send a ZenMaid representative. Stephanie was going to be near there anyways, or maybe it was an excuse to go, but went to this event and represented us. She's obviously not normally a client-facing or audience sort of facing member, and not only did she go to this event, she spoke at the event and presented ZenMaid and has generated quite a few leads from that. This is the kind of thing that, yeah. This was really something, of course, not something that we would have asked or suggested. So it was a pleasant surprise for that to be in the skill set or whatever, and so that was good. Just see, okay, this is the next one. Halloween theme. This was one that we did it one year, seemed silly and not all that important, and we actually saw a lot of people that really appreciated that we did this. So this is obviously a delight feature. It's something that, you always get a couple of Karens that complain about the bat flying around on the screen. But generally people absolutely love this. And then I believe we have now actually built in a system, right? So it makes it much easier for us to do this for all holidays. The same way that we educate our clients that they should probably be sending out, monthly promotions for various holidays as an excuse to check in with their audience. We might want to do something similar for our users and, maybe marketing campaigns or whatever. We'll talk about that. But if we could come up with one of these for every single month of the year, it's a really nice delight thing and gives us a nice excuse to talk to users and etc. So that is good. Okay. Last slide. That slide's not supposed to be there, but I'm going to be talking about it anyways. Didn't actually finish that slide. Okay, so the last example is maybe a bit of a less, comfortable and less positive one maybe, but still a very, very good example of ZenMaid culture. So a couple of years ago, there was a dev call where I guess there was an inappropriate joke or some inappropriate things that were said on the dev call. Tisha, in particular, took note of that and brought it to the team's attention in Slack very quickly after the call. And I don't know, maybe this isn't the best example to share because I don't really want to go into too many details, but essentially it was dealt with adults and professionals the entire way around, where I was insanely proud of the team and I'm trying to think how to should have gone through this first. So essentially, the team members that I guess were responsible for that immediately owned up to it, apologized, and the team had a discussion about it on how to move forward, how to avoid things that happening again. It was something that I thought that Tisha was unbelievably brave for speaking up, and I thought it was a great sign of our culture that not only was she brave enough to do that, but was also comfortable enough to do that, and to do that publicly, because that was something that I saw when it first came out. It wasn't a DM to Alex, it was there for everyone, and it was well communicated, it was thoughtful, and the way that the entire team responded in support of that was really, really amazing, and it's something that I thought was very an internal example. So I don't know if I did a good job explaining that or not. But anyways, Tisha, nice job. So. And conclusion.
Let's say
That's it. So okay. To actually close it out, so my coach said that what we're supposed to come up with is something zen, zany, and sparkle. His was hungry, humble, and weird for AppSumo. If you guys are familiar with AppSumo, they do $100 million a year, and that was their cultural values. And so he was from these 3 words, we can extrapolate all of these things that apparently I have as behaviors. So we need 3 words. I put these here.
What is zenny?
Like crazy,
it's like,
crazy.
Yeah, like, we should say Zen-sane.
You're already there.
Zen-sane.
You're already
Zen-sane.
Yeah.
We already got that.
Any questions?